Good evening and welcome to the District 1 and District 2 Town Hall meeting, where we'll be discussing our Adopt a Road program here in the city of South Fulton. I'm honored to be co-hosting this event with Councilwoman Gumbs, as well as our fabulous Public Works team. I'll turn this program over to our Public Works Director, Antonio Valenzuela.
Good evening, Councilwoman Rowell, Councilwoman Gomes, residents of District 1 and District 2. I appreciate the introduction, and I want to thank you as well to Rosanne Francois, who is the program manager who leads this effort for the city of South Fulton. Tonight, we would like to do a quick presentation of what this program is and allow our community and residents to ask any questions that they might think appropriate for the meeting, and we would love to have a dialogue with them. Rosanne, can you please put the presentation up front?
Yes, Jackie, would you please give me access, host? Jackie? Okay.
You have access, Rosanne.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Again, this is the Adopt a Road program presentation that we base on an approved resolution by Mayor and Council of July 2019. As you can understand, many of the resolutions are approved and done years ago, and we're always open for additional improvement on a resolution that do not necessarily have to come from council or city employees. It can also come through suggestions that we'd love to have it from our residents. Just to mention a few organizations that already have made and working with us. It's listed. I'm not going to read verbatim, but our program manager, Mr. Francois, is the one that keeps up with who is requesting, who is doing what, and what roads, and so on, to ensure that we don't have duplication of adoptees, and as well to ensure that we can provide what our residents require in order to have the Adopt a Road a successful program. A few examples that what our goal is, just to show to you how our roads looks like when we do little pickup and then we do grass cutting or brush cutting and so on. On the left hand side, you can see it before, and the right hand side, you can see it afterwards. So we would love to keep those roads at the same level as, or at least allowed to stay for a couple of weeks. That's another one on Inland Road when it's before and after. We are doing this the maintenance of our roads every 2 weeks, and we'll do everything possible to maintain at that level. And I know that counting with you all, we're going to get to that point. Another example, please. Old Fairway Road, it's before and after. You can see on the right hand side was before, and on the left hand side it's after. So it's very straightforward. We want to keep as after action, but we want to keep it longer than a day. We don't want to keep it just cutting today and tomorrow being later. Next. At this point, I want to turn the presentation into Mr. Francois, who has the entire program under his hand and responsibilities. He's going to go item by item on what it is this program and what we're looking for, our responsibilities as well as residents' responsibilities, and what we can do and what we can provide and what we cannot provide. With that said, I'm going to leave it up to Rosanne to continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Valenzuela, and good evening, everyone. Thank you, Councilwoman Rowell and Councilwoman Gumbs, for the opportunity to present tonight. What I would like to do is to walk you through the presentation. And first, as you can see on the screen, this is what we're going to talk about. what is the adapt road, who can adapt the road, and also the responsibilities that come with adapting a road and the safety tips. And also, as you know, there will be some important documents that both the program and the city require, so that we want to make sure that this is done right and also in a timely manner. Having said that, who can adapt a road? As you can see, almost every civic organization, schools, churches, all of them can adapt the road. And on the left hand side, you can see the Cascade Road BMA on the Business Merchants Associations, and also the Delta Seniority Sigma on the left hand side. Those are both in District 1 and District 2. And what is Adapt a Road? Adapt a Road is nothing but a litter prevention and beautification program. And what we're doing here in Public Works, we are working with the citizens to allow them to work with us so that they can take responsibility of some sections of the road, so that they can help the city to clean those sections of the roads that they're responsible for. So to beautify it, make sure it looks nice along the way. And in general, there are some responsibilities. And the program requires that for anyone who wants to adapt the road, they have to sign an agreement. This is a requirement. You cannot go ahead and perform any duties along the corridor without having an approved adapt the road equipment. As far as commercial organizations, we don't want anything on the signs to reflect anything regarding the commercial. For example, let's say if you have a dry cleaning business or a grocery store, we don't want that kind of information like the address, the phone numbers, and so on the signs. The signs are very generic. Later in the presentation, we will give you examples of some signs that are currently approved. But as I said, we don't want any addresses, phone number, or any contact information. And it's very important to know that the department has the final approval on all routes and also the schedule. And there's at a minimum, there are two reasons for it. The first one, we want to make sure that the route that you are willing to adapt, it's not already adapted by somebody else, by another organization. And again, and also we want to stay away from state routes. All the work will be done on local routes. And also, as far as the scheduling, as Mr. Valenzuela stated, we have crews that do the pickup along the corridor. So we want to make sure that whenever you're ready to do a job, we want to make sure that when you send us the information, we want to make sure that the day before that the road wasn't clean, so you don't waste your time when you go out and do the work. And at the minimum, we require that you do the litter cleanup at least 4 times a year, and we encourage you to do it more than that. In fact, there are some organizations that do it almost on a monthly basis. And at the minimum, we require that the corridor is at minimum 2 miles long, and we require a minimum of a 2-year commitment. And as I stated earlier, prior to doing an event, we require that you let us know at least 10 days ahead of time. And the reason for that is twofold. So that, number one, we can notify the field crew that, hey, on such a date, such organization will do the pickup, so that on the next available day, we can send somebody over to pick up the trash. So it's very important that you let us know 10 days prior that of the event that you're going to actually doing it. And it's very important that you really respect those rules, because if you fail to meet those rules, it's really at the discretion of the department. We can terminate you for a year if we decide that you are violating one or more rules. Now, the responsibility of an adopting organization. The adopting organization is responsible to recruit volunteers. For example, if you feel like you're going to do a job, it's going to require 10, 15 people, and you feel like you only have 4 people and you call the office, we do not have volunteers that we can refer you to supplement the workload. And also, we strongly encourage you to have a leader and a co-leader. And those 2 people, we require that they are 18 years old or older. For each organization leader, we require that you sign a release of liability, and I will discuss that later in the presentation. And we want to ensure that no one works without signing the form. It's very important that each participant sign the form prior to engaging into any activity. We also strongly encourage you and mandate that you have a safety briefing meeting at the beginning of each pickup. And at the end of the event, or at the end of the pickup, we require that you complete and return the form. So the form is very important for a variety of reasons. At first, it really documents the event, because as I said earlier, you are required to do 4 events per year. And this is the only tracking mechanism that we have to know that you actually did the work that day. So it's very important that you complete and return the form. And also the data that you provide on the form is very useful information for the office. The number of bags you pick up, so on and so forth. So it's very important that you complete and return the form. At the same time, you are required to complete if there are young adults that are involved in the event, we require that you also fill out a form, and I will discuss that. I will show you at the later in the presentation. Now, what are the responsibility of Public Works? The same way that the organization have responsibilities, we also in the department have a responsibility. Once you send the information to us and the information is approved, and the next step of the department is to fabricate signs so that we can show that you are adapting a section of the road. And there are 2 signs involved. The upper one is kind of the main sign of the Adapt the Road program, and the one underneath, which is the daughter signs, is the one that represent the organization or the applicant's name and so on. And later on in the presentation, I will go over the process. Usually within 3 months after that we receive and approve the application, the department, my section will work with the traffic operations sections to make sure the signs are fabricated and that they are erected. Once we have all the signs ready to go and they are installed, the department will issue a notice to proceed to the applicant to let them know that, hey, you guys are ready to go. And concurrently, we also let you know that we have supplies ready for you to pick up. And the supplies include 2 boxes of gloves. We provide 20 vests, some bags, usually on average of 50 to 100 bags, and also 10-liter grabbers. And we do that every year. Currently, we are in the process of getting it for this fiscal year. And all that supplies are available for pickup at the location that we currently reside at, 6095 Boat Rock Boulevard. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the reason why it's very important to let us know 10 days prior to you going to have an event is for my staff to really work with the field crew so that they can go on the next available day to pick up the bags. Because if there's one thing we don't want to happen is for the organization to do the work, let's say, for example, on a Saturday, So the next available day will be on a Monday, assuming this is not a holiday, and for the bags to stay there for the whole week. So it requires a lot of coordination between the organization, myself, and the field crew to make sure everything goes seamless throughout the process. And the department is also available with route selections. Sometimes we receive calls from applicants. They are eager to participate in the program, but they have no idea where to start. They don't have a route in mind. So we work with them to help them to select a route. And some of them, for example, would like to know the area, some areas of concern where there's a lot of illegal dumping sites. So we tried also to educate them on the sites and also the corridors, so that they can, if they feel like this is an area that they would like to adopt, so they can go ahead and do that. And also the department will work with the communications affairs to make sure that we provide a press release to make sure that everybody is aware of what's going on with the program. And before you is a flow chart that kind of walk you through the process. And as I said earlier, the organization will initiate the request. Once we receive the request in-house, we will evaluate it, make sure it's okay, that everything looks fine. If there's additional information that is needed, we will reach out to the applicant and let the applicant know. If, for example, the road is already selected, we will also inform the applicant and provide some suggestions to what is available now. And then once this is done and all the paperwork are in order, then we put a package together and send it to the Public Works Director for his review and approval. Once the document is approved, then we send the package to the traffic operations people to get the signs going, the fabrications of the signs and so on. And as I stated, once the signs are fabricated, ready to go and installed, we draft it. At first, let me step back a minute. We let them know that the application was approved. But once the signs are ready and installed, then we send them a notice to proceed, so that they can start work anytime they want to, and also that the supplies are ready for them to pick up. Some safety tips. Again, we mandate that you have a safety meeting briefing at the beginning of every event. It's very important. We encourage you to meet at a convenient place away from the site, away from the street. It could be like a coffee, like somewhere that you feel safe. And it is very important that everybody is consenting to the work. You are not forcing anybody to do the work. They're ready to do it. It's fun. We require that, as I said earlier, that everybody sign a release, and you always have to wear your safety vest. Is very important. And we also encourage that you carpool to the site. That's one thing we don't want to have too many cars along the road. So it's very important, as if possible, to limit the number of cars to the site. Again, it's always good to have a first aid kit nearby. There's a lot of issues. Sometimes there are insects, fire ants, and some people may be allergic to some of the things on the environment. So it's very important that you have a first aid kit nearby. We also encourage that you work in small groups, and when you're getting very close to, although we require that you stay away from 4 feet from the edge of the pavement, but it's always good to have somebody on the lookout to make sure that when cars are coming, or if there's anything that the other people need to be aware of. And again, be careful, watch for bad weather. If, for example, you have an event that is scheduled for let's say 10 days from now, and when it's time for the event to occur, if there's bad weather, we strongly encourage you to avoid to postpone it, and to, again, be very careful of your surrounding and so on. and really to use your own judgment to see if it's conducive for you to perform the task that day, or if you need to postpone it. And as always, in cases of emergency, we encourage you to call 911. And the three important documents that I mentioned earlier is a release of our liability. And what it says is really that you, number one, you acknowledge that you are working in the vicinity of the street and it could be an hazardous activity, that you, by acknowledging that, you waive all claims for damages against the city. So in other words, you are doing it at your own risk. And for the parental consent, if any of the participants are under 18 years of age, we require that they complete that form, that the parents complete that form on behalf of the children. And it's very important that that form also, along with the report, be submitted the next week, at least less than 10 days after the event. And again, the last important documents, and whenever you apply for the program, all that information is submitted to you as a package. So all the forms will be included in the package along with the applications. And again, this one, as is stated in red, you accept all the responsibilities that is involved in this, and you acknowledge again that working in the vicinity could be dangerous, and you waive all claims against the city, and you agree to do this at least 4 times a year, and for a minimum of 2 years. And this is what the form looks like after the event. The one to the left is a blank form. The one to the right is an example of the one completed by the Cascade Business Merchant Association. As you can see, it tells the department the number of volunteers that worked that day, and how many of them were under 18 years old, and how many hours they work, and how many of bags were collected, so on and so forth. So it's very important to us to collect that information, and that information is also shared with other division within our department. Any questions? Hello?
Ms. Rowell and Ms. Gomes, that was the end of the presentation. At this point, we'd like to open for any questions that anybody might have. And I have listed below the email for Rosanne Francois when they want to request any information for Adopt a Road. We have the information in Adobe file. They don't have to come to the city to receive those. And very soon, we'll also hang the application into the website and the Public Works.
Well, first of all,
Go ahead.
first of all, I want to thank you all for putting this together. It was well put together, so I appreciate it. Kind of gives you a clear outline of the steps you need to take to adopt a road. I don't know if it was mentioned because I did join a little late. How many organizations currently do we have that are active within the city of South Fulton right now that are part of the Adopt a Road program?
Councilwoman Guns, good evenings.
Good evening.
They are on the screen right now.
Okay. And what's the capacity of how many? Does it matter how many that we can take, or, you know, how many we can accommodate? We're just trying to get as many as possible.
That's correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how many roads do we have in South Fulton? This is a trivia question.
We have 606 miles
600 and what?
and 6 miles.
Miles
goodness.
of road, yes.
Miles of road. Okay.
Linear miles. So if you double up on both sides, then if you have it a median on the side, so it's about 2,400 miles.
Okay. And these are only for our local roads. State roads don't count, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
We do not have anything on state routes. We do not want to put
Okay.
anybody
Well,
else.
the great thing about this is that it's recorded and we can definitely share this with a lot of the organizations that Dr. Rowell and I are a part of. And just also sharing it on the website so people can really get the information on how to adopt a road. So I think this was an excellent start, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people to want to come in and adopt a road.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want to ditto the
Oh.
sentiments of Councilwoman Gums. This is a very important part of the work we're doing to beautify our city. And so that requires partnerships. It's not just the staff doing it. Great communities also engage their residents in these kinds of activities. And so we want to encourage our local churches, our fraternities and sororities, and nonprofit organizations to really consider partnering with the city on this important initiative. I know specifically in District 1, we're looking for partners for Baker's Ferry Road. And we also want to see some on Riverside and Plummer. So those are areas that we're specifically targeting, that we tend to be challenged with litter in the area. And I also want to say special thanks to our partners that we've been working with for many years, like the Cascade BMA. They've been at it a very long time. As Mr. Francois mentioned, some of our partners do it more than once a quarter. They actually do it once a month. So again, we want to encourage you, even if you don't take on adopting a road, consider plugging in with one of these organizations who've already done it. Or adopted a road so they can increase their capacity. So just wanted to mention that. I'm still looking on the chat on the YouTube channel. I haven't seen any additional questions, but I am looking so that the team can respond.
And did you mention that the signage to have the marketing, that was a free of cost, or is that a free? The signage once you do the Adopt a Road program?
It's a free signage that is created for each group that wants to help us out with adopting a road. Francois, can you bring me back one example that we have?
For example, the Councilman Gums, are you referring to whether organization has to pay for the sign?
Well, it said furnish sign, so I was just wondering, based on the fact
They
that
don't pay.
They don't pay.
pay.
It is free. It is free.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah. Okay, so you have free marketing, right?
Yes.
They'll be erected within 3 months of the initial adoption. Awesome.
And again, Councilman Gums, we put two signs, one at the beginning of the route and one at the end.
Love it.
Yes.
So again, we look forward to reaching out, particularly to the members of the Divine Nine. I saw a couple of them represented. We hope all of them will be represented, as well as, again, churches and other nonprofit organizations in the city. So stay tuned. We're going to be aggressively trying to get additional coverage across the 600 plus miles that we have in our city. So your support and help would be much appreciated.
That's correct. And if you were a part of a group that was adopted in the Fulton County, and for some reason we still have those older signs on the roads, we want to encourage you to go back and solicit again and be part of the City of South Fulton, as we have removed older signs, and we want to bring you back under the City of South Fulton Adopt a Road program.
And I also have one other question. Is there a renewal period? So each year you all look at the program and see who has been active and who hasn't, and do you release those roads if they have not been active? Is there a renewal period for each organization?
And Councilwoman Gums, the signing period is for 2 years, but currently we are in the process of evaluating last year. we are in a new fiscal year. We are currently looking at whatever happened in 2020, and we should have a report very soon.
I have to add that we have some groups that work really well with us. We receive their emails and requests informing us that they will be cleaning the road a particular weekend, and we ensure that our staff will be picking up those bags that are collected the first Monday of that weekend, where they pick up the litter. And some they stay kind of mute, but as Mr. Francois indicated, we are in the process of seeing who is performing and what group is not performing.
Sounds good.
Well, if we don't have any other questions, which I don't see any in the chat, we want to thank everybody who took the time to tune in for the D1, D2 Adopt a Road Town Hall meeting. We look forward to the partnership with community to continue to beautify our city.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I echo Ms. Rowell and Ms. Gomes, and Public Works is ready to assist and provide the necessary support to your districts, as well as to the rest of 5 districts that we have in the city of South Fulton. We have 7 districts, but we're here to provide any necessary support that you might need.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
And
good
good
evening,
evening.
everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.